Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of biology. And of course, today we are going to continue our study of ecology. Okay, basically today we are going to be looking at adaptation for survival, adaptation, and as well as we'll look at habitats very well. Okay, so these are the focal point for today's class. And of course, do know that this tutorial, these episodes, all of these videos, they are brought to you by the O3 Schools application. And if you have made a decision that you do not want to write JAMB twice, or if you have been writing before and you know that this one will be your last JAMB, okay, please jump on the application immediately. Download it. It's available for your Android phones, available for your iPhones, available for your computer system, okay, for both JAMB and for WAEC, okay. Check our testimonies to see how students' life have been transformed by using this application. A lot of 300s, okay. So so long you are dedicated to studying, you definitely will pass if you have the application. Okay, so we'll talk about the features of the app. Let us use one of the features in the app called question search to search for question that has to relate with adaptation and what's it called now, habitat. Now this is a 2001 question number 46. 2001 question number 46. It says here that the most important adaptation of xerophytes is the ability of the protoplasm to A says absorb water and swell. B says resist being damaged by water loss. C says shrink from the cell wall. Shrink from the cell wall. D says store sugar and minerals in the vacuole. Okay, so these are many questions is what we're going to take a look at. Okay, at the end of the class and not before, because at O3 Schools we believe that if we teach you well, if we don't teach you well, okay, to answer question, nobody had you. All right, we believe that the reason why a lot of people do not or are unable to pass their exam because they have not been properly taught. Okay, so our teaching methods are bound to what make you succeed. So please ensure you download the application to complement the effort of these videos. Right, the app has everything you need to succeed. All the past questions for all the subjects are on the application. You won't even need to go and buy past questions outside. All right. Aside from that, we also have what a classroom feature. The classroom feature has the recent JAMB syllabus or WAEC syllabus, and also has what lecture notes that are structured according to that syllabus. So you will not have any need to go and buy textbook. When people message me, okay, and say, please, which textbook should I use to? You don't go and get the application, okay? Lecture notes are already there for you to study with. So you don't have any need to buy textbook. Also, in that classroom, there's a study plan. You can create a study plan. What the app does is that you select the subject you want to study. It will use the syllabus and use the lecture note on the application to create a timetable for you. All right, so it's telling you what to read every day. All right, if it is maths, it is English, it is chemistry, if it is biology, or if it's any subject, art, so is there. So all it does for you is to create that timetable for you so that you can easily finish your syllabus. Many of you prepare for your exam, you never read the syllabus finish. Your syllabus is not complete, you have not completed it. That is a big problem, okay? So the classroom solves all of that problem for you. Also, there's a mock challenge on the WAEC app and on the JAMB app every Saturday. All students who are preparing for JAMB and WAEC, they come to the app, they compete to win a lot of prizes. But the reason why we do that challenge is not because of the prizes, right? It's so that you can get used to JAMB or WAEC past questions, get used to JAMB, WAEC or likely exam questions. Familiarize yourself with how JAMB or WAEC set question, as well as you will see your score, your result released after the exam. So you'll not be scared when they say JAMB don't release result, because you know that this is what you see every day. You participate in mock every Saturday, and you are tested. You have been proving yourself. You have been seeing how prepared you are. All right. So please ensure you download the application, and there's an activation fee for the app. All right. If you want the app to be fully functional for you, activate the app. All right. Message this number on WhatsApp 09121515246 on WhatsApp to activate your application. All right. Trust me, the price of activation is less than the price of rice and chicken in a good restaurant. So please do not substitute rice and chicken, okay, for your success. And of course, if you want to activate, just download the app, click on activate. At the top, the next page that opens, you see the road buy activation key. Click on that buy activation key. You see the options. All right. Make your payment. You have nothing to be scared of. Make your payment. Send the receipt to this number on WhatsApp. You get what responded to. All right. Except maybe we're in the studio and we're busy. All right. You get it almost immediately. But if you do not get it almost immediately, just know that we are busy in the studio. All right. We're preparing these classes for you, so you will definitely get your activation. All right. So now let us talk about what adaptation and what and habitat. Okay, so even I don't know, but if you are in Nigeria, to adapt is a word that has been very, very commonly used. Okay, to adapt is something that has been commonly used because the economy, the situation of the country, all right, has been becoming worse and worse as the day goes by. All right, so we as human beings, we have no choice than to keep what adapting. We keep managing ourselves. We keep what surviving. All right, so that is what adaptation. All right, they are traits. Okay, they are traits which increases the organism's chances of survival. Adaptation, they are traits which increases the organism's chances of survival. Okay, so you just have to survive. You just have to survive as a human being living in this country, Nigeria. So organisms also living in the habitat, they also need to what? They also need to what? Adapt to what? To their environment so that they can survive. All right, so that they can survive. We call what adaptation an evolutionary process. Okay, adaptation is an evolutionary process by which a population of organisms become better suited to its environment over successive generations. Okay, so say adaptation is an evolutionary process by which a population of organisms become better suited to its what environment over successive what generations. Okay, so don't relate it to how you are living in this country, how you are trying to just survive. Okay, so even your children, that's why you see that many people want to travel out, want to go and what get what better better means of livelihood. Okay, because the country does not seem to be changing. Okay, so it is we that are inside the country that need to be adapting to the situations of the country. All right, so we define what adaptation as an evolutionary process by which a population of organisms become better suited to its what environment over successive what generations. Okay, we say they are what traits which increases what the organism chances of what of survival. That's what we define as what as adaptation. Okay, and adaptation can occur at the genetic level. It can occur at the anatomical level. Okay, it can occur at the physiological level. Or even behavioral levels. Behavioral levels. Okay, so adaptation can occur at any of these levels. It could be what due to genetics, it could be anatomical, it could be what physiological, it could be what behavioral. All right, but just know that what adaptations, okay, they are driven by what? By what we call natural selection. Okay, they are driven by natural what selections. Okay, in natural selection, individuals that are more advantageous or that have more advantageous traits, okay, they are the ones that are likely what to pass their gene from one generation to the other. Okay, in natural selection, individuals with more advantageous traits. Okay, that ones that pass their gene, okay, from one generation to the other. Okay, so this is what happens basically in adaptation. This is adaptation for you, an evolutionary process by which a population of organisms become better suited to their environment, okay, over successive generation. Okay, and you see that to adapt, organisms begin to they form different associations, okay, which we saw in the last class, right? We saw the what's called mutualism, you saw commensalism, you saw parasitism, you saw all of those association that they form all of those so that they can survive. They want just survive. Okay, they don't have any choice. They have to survive. Even the predators that are preying on what? That are preying on their prey. Okay, they want to survive. That's how they are doing it. Okay, so they don't get choice. They do not have a choice than to survive. So all of these are what? They are adaptation. All right, and of course you should know that what organisms in association often what exhibit features of biological importance. Okay, organisms in association. Organisms in association, they often what? They exhibit. Organisms in association often exhibit various features of biological importance. Okay, one of such relationship or association of features of biological importance that they exhibit is the one we call what? Symbiotic. Okay, or symbiosis. Okay, let me just say symbiosis. Or what the symbiotic relationship, all right? So in symbiosis, right, what happens is that organisms they create a relationship whereby both of them involved, they are benefiting from each other. Okay, so that is what symbiotic relationship. All right, so the organisms that are involved in symbiosis, they are what? They are benefiting from each other. Another type of what association that they form, okay, is what is called cooperation. So another feature that they exhibit, okay, collaborative efforts that they exhibit is what? Is cooperation. Okay, you see them having a collaborative, we call it a collaborative behaviors. All right, for example, like division of labor, as you see them in ants. Okay, division of labor, right? There are those ants that you see that are going to find food, okay, and they want to take it, okay, to what? To go and save or to go and store. All right. So that is a mechanism. It's a feature, okay, that they exhibit. It's a that is of biological importance to them, okay, which is what? Cooperation, a collaborative effort or collaborative behavior, such as division of labor. This helps to also increase the chances of survival of the organisms. Okay, so that is that for that. Then likewise, we also have communication. All right. I don't know if you have read Turkey before. If you have read Turkey before, turkeys they will expand their feathers and try to attack you. Okay, so if you catch one turkey now, if you hold one, the other ones will want to attack you. They communicate. Okay, how do they communicate? They use signals. Okay, they use chemical signals. Signals. Okay, they use sounds. Okay, they use what's it called? Cues, visual cues. Okay, to enable the organisms to interact with each other. All right. So effective communication mechanism that they build, such as these chemical signals, sounds, and visual cues. All right, help them to communicate and interact with each other. So this is another biological feature. All right, that they exhibit. Then likewise, also we have adaptations. Adaptations. Okay, so you discover that in adaptation, that species within between an association, they may have or evolve specific adaptations. Okay, they may exhibit what you call or evolve what you call specific adaptation. Okay, to enable them to thrive. To enable them to thrive in that shared environment, okay, or enhance their ecological niches. Okay, so you see that species in in an environment, okay, they will evolve specific adaptations. They enable them to what? To survive in that environment, or to what? Enhance each other's ecological niche. Ecological what? Niche. You know what ecological niche is? We defined it when we were doing our introduction to ecology, okay? So it's not only about ecological niche does not talk about only where the habitat is. It talks about the functional roles, okay, of those organisms in that habitat. Okay, so what are they doing? So they help each other what? In what? In fulfilling their roles. That is called what? Adaptation. Okay, so they evolve specific what? Adaptations, okay, which enables them to what? To thrive in their shared environment, okay, or in their association, and also what? Help each other what? Improve their what? Their functional roles or ecological niche. Then number 5, we talk about defense strategies. Defense strategies, okay, so there are so many what defense strategies that as an association, okay, often exhibit, okay, and that's what to defend what ourselves, okay. For example, we have what we call group protection, or warning signals, okay. So there's something called group protection or warning signals, like I showed you in that what's it called, as I explained using about the turkey. I read turkey, so I see them displaying sometimes. So for example, maybe a turkey is what? Ripe and is mature, okay, and I want to kill one. If I carry one and kill, if it's in their presence, you see the way they're making noise, okay. Even birds, your chickens, okay, those of you that rear chickens in your house, if you kill one and they see that blood, you see the way they'll be warning each other, they'll be shouting, go, 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 go. They will not be rested. They'll be what? Restless throughout. All right, warning each other. So they develop what? Defense what? Strategies, such as what? Group protection or warning signals, okay, to enhance their what? Their survival. All right. So these are some of the what? Some of the association, some of the biological what? Features that association what? Exhibit to improve their chances of what? Or survival, so that they can also what? Adapt to their environments. So now let us look at effect of what? Water availability on adaptive modification. Effect of water availability. You know, water is very, very important, okay? So if water is available, okay, all right, how does it what? Affect, all right, adaptive modification. Before we look at that point, please, we have discovered that a lot of you do not want other people to pass exam. In fact, you have sworn. I heard that some of you have gone to swear that what you will make sure that people do not pass the exam. All right. How do you do this? By not liking this video. All right. If you watch this video, you do not like it, or you're watching right now and you have not liked it, please pause everything you are doing, like the video. Liking the video will make this video to be suggested to other students who are preparing for this exam. All right. And because these videos are beneficial to you, it will be beneficial to them also. Please ensure you click on the like button. All right. Click on the share button. Copy the link of this video wherever you're watching from, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube. Share the link to your friends, to your loved ones. Likewise, do not forget to drop comments, and do not forget to also subscribe to this channel if you're watching from YouTube. Okay, subscription will send notification to your phone immediately we release a new video. Also, do not forget to follow us on TikTok. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at O3 Schools. All right. So that is that for that. Now let's look at the effect of availability of water. Effect of availability of water on adaptive modification. Okay, effect of availability of water on adaptive modification. Now, the availability of water, okay, plays a very important role in helping to shape adaptive modification in different organisms. Okay, so if water is available, depends on how you try to adapt. Okay, like for example, if you're living in the desert, we know that there's no much source of water. Okay, you'll be trying to conserve your water, not be drinking water anyhow. Okay, it's not like we know that I will see water to drink when we want. Like I traveled to Ghana some I think 2 years ago. All right, water was more expensive than the food I was eating. I was now wondering what is happening. There are some countries, I think another country should be Rwanda, or or Tanzania also. Okay, I can't remember vividly, where their water is very, very, very expensive. They don't get they don't get good drinking water like that. Right? So their water is expensive to get. So if you're in that kind of environment where you don't get clean, good water to drink like that, you see that you try to managing what yourself. So it's like an adaptive modification. So in arid conditions, arid, you know what arid conditions are, okay? The condition where there's limited water supply, okay? Limited water resources. Okay, so in arid conditions where there's limited water resources, okay, species have to develop adaptive modifications, such as conservation of water and efficiency. Okay, they need to develop a mechanism that will enable them to conserve water, so that they can live efficiently. All right, so that is in arid condition where there's limited water supply. So they need to manage themselves. They need to develop adaptive modification. And some of those adaptive modification that organisms or species in arid condition develop are: one, we have water loss through specialized skin or corticals. Okay, so they have to develop water loss through specialized skin or corticals. All right. Then likewise, another adaptive modification that organisms or species in arid conditions with limited water resources develop is modified metabolic process. All right, they develop a modified metabolic process so that they can be able to conserve water. And then lastly, also efficient water storage mechanism. Okay, so they also have to develop a good and efficient water storage mechanism, so that they can survive in this kind of conditions. Okay, so like I'm saying, this is effect of availability on water on adaptive modification. Okay, so organisms or species that are living in arid conditions, okay, or arid environments with limited water resources, they need to develop adaptive modification that enable them to conserve water and live efficiently. All right, some of those mechanisms is water loss through specialized skin or corticals, modified metabolic processes, and efficient water storage. Now, on the other hand, organisms or species that are in a place where there's availability of water, where water is very, very well available, like in the aquatic environment. Okay, these organisms that are in aquatic environment, that they see water very well, right? They live in the water self. So they also have to develop adaptive modification to enable them to live well in that environment and survive. And they need to adapt. One of those adaptive mechanisms is streamlined body shape. Number one is streamlined body shape. Okay, what does streamlined body shape able to do? Aquatic animals, it enables them to swim efficiently. All right, to swim efficiently. Okay, so they develop a streamlined body shape so that they'll be able to swim efficiently. Also, number two, they develop specialized gills. Specialized gills for extracting oxygen from water. Okay, so they also will develop specialized gills for for extracting oxygen from water. All right, they also have some behavior related to reproduction. Okay, they also have to develop adaptive modification that are related to reproduction and survival in aquatic conditions. All right, so those are organisms in the aquatic environment, while these ones are organisms in arid environment. All right, where there's limited water supply. So they have to survive. So they have to develop Okay, adaptive what modifications. Okay, adaptive modification need to what happen, and that's why I was telling you that what this adaptive modification may be due to genetic, it could be due to physiological factors and the likes. Now let us now see what the tadpole. Let's see structural adaptations of the tadpole. Structural adaptations of the tadpole. Please like this video, subscribe, or share, download the O3 Schools app now. Even if you have other apps in your phone, download the app. Okay, do not be deceived. Now let us talk about structural adaptation. Adaptation of tadpole. Now, what is a tadpole, first of all? Okay, a tadpole is the larval stage of a toad or the frog. Okay, and if you see a tadpole, a tadpole is completely different. It's completely different from what? From the adult frog. All right, but it is through the process of what? Metamorphosis. Okay, that will not get to this adult frog. All right, so but know that what that the tadpole is a larval stage of what? Of the toad or frog, and the tadpole undergoes different structural modifications or structural adaptation to facilitate what is survival in the what? In the aquatic ecosystem before it now transforms, okay, to the what? To the terrestrial habitat. You know that a frog lives on what? On land also. Okay, so now what are these what structural adaptation that the tadpole undergoes? Number one is what? The tail. Now the tadpole has what? A long muscular tail. Has a long muscular tail that enables what? The tadpole to what? To swim. Okay, that enables it. Let me say that enables it. That enables it to swim efficiently. All right. So this long muscular tail of the tadpole enables the tadpole to what? To swim efficiently. But as the tadpole now tries to what? Transform. As the tadpole tries to what? Transform from what? From the aquatic habitat to the terrestrial habitat, to the process of what? Metamorphosis into the what? The adult frog. This tail, this long tail, gets what? Reabsorbed. The tail gets reabsorbed. All right. To now what? And transform to form the legs of what? Of the toad. All right, because what? In the terrestrial habitat, it may not have so much use for what? For the tail. Okay, but it will need what? The legs to what? To move on what? On land. Right, so for that reason, the long muscular tail gets reabsorbed to now form what? The legs of what? Of the toad or what? The adult frog. Okay, important what? And very obvious what? Modification, okay, or structural adaptation of the tadpole as it tries to transform from what? From the aquatic ecosystem to the what? To the terrestrial ecosystem. Now also we also have what? The body shape. Now the tadpole also has what? It has a streamlined body shape. Okay, this streamlined body shape enables the tadpole to what? To swim efficiently. Okay, this one enables it to what? To swim what? Efficiently. Okay, so that is what? For what? For the body shape. That's a streamlined body shape that enables it to what? To swim what? Efficiently. Then also we have the gills. Okay, so the tadpoles has what? They have what we call, it has external gills. External gills. These external gills enable the tadpole to breathe underwater. Okay, to breathe underwater. Okay, so the external gills enable the tadpole to breathe underwater in the aquatic ecosystem. All right, but as it is transitioning to what? To the adult frog. All right, it may not have what? Need for these external gills. So this external gills is now transformed to what? It's now transformed to what? To internal gills. To internal gills, or the one will not call what? To the one will not call what? Lung. During the process of metamorphosis, it transformed to internal gills or what? Or lungs, which enables to what? To breathe. Okay, in the what? In the terrestrial habitat. Okay, so another what? Wonderful what? Structural adaptation of what? Of the tadpole is what? Is the gills, from external gills to what? To internal gills or the lungs. Also, we have the mouth part. Now, the tadpole, okay, has what? A mouth part that enables it to feed on aquatic vegetation and what? And microorganisms, okay, in the what? In the aquatic ecosystem. It has mouth part that enables it to feed on aquatic vegetation. Okay, to enable to feed on aquatic vegetation and what? And microorganisms. Okay, now that is when it is what? In the aquatic ecosystem. But when it want to transform, okay, during the process of metamorphosis into what? The terrestrial habitat, you see that what? That the tadpole will now what? This mouth part, it will now develop what? A mouth part that is better suited for its carnivorous lifestyle, okay, on the terrestrial habitat. So this mouth part will develop into what? A mouth part that is better suited to its what? Carnivorous what? Lifestyle in the what? In the terrestrial what? Habitat. And then lastly, there's also what we call lateral line system. Okay, also have lateral line system. Okay, this lateral line system, some tadpoles, they have it. Okay, this lateral line system, they are sensory organs. They are sensory organs at the sides of the tadpole. Okay, they are sensory organs. Take note, on the sides of what? Of the tadpole. These sensory organs enable them to sense changes in pressure. Okay, it enables them to what? To also what? Sense what? Vibrations, all right, and helps it to what? To navigate. It helps what? The tadpole, all right, in what? In navigation also, okay, in its what? Ecosystem. So these are all of the what? The structural adaptations of what? Of the tadpole. All right, number one, the long muscular tail that enables it to swim efficiently. The body shape that, or streamlined body shape that enables it to swim efficiently. The gills, they have external gills. Okay, they enable them to breathe underwater, but it's now transformed to what? Or transition into internal gills or lungs. Have the mouth part that enables to feed on aquatic vegetation and microorganisms, but of course, it's now to what? Transform to what? A mouth part that is better suited for its what? Carnivorous lifestyle on the terrestrial habitat. They also have the lateral line system, which are sensory organs that are present on the side of what? The toad. Okay, which what enables what? To sense changes in water pressure, vibrations, okay, and also helps what? The toad in what? In navigation. Okay, so now we'll go to what? To structural adaptation of what? Of the fish. Please like the video, like, subscribe, share. Okay, it's very, very important. Like, subscribe, and share to your friends and loved ones, even your junior ones at an SS1. Okay, let them start preparing. We don't know how useful these videos are to them. Now, let us see fish until they get to SS3 when they start what? Blasting. So let us see structural adaptation of what? Of the fish. Okay, so also the fish also what? Undergo several structural adaptations, okay, which enables to what? To survive in its own what? Ecosystem. One of them is the streamlined body for what? Number one, streamlined body for reduced water resistance. Okay, so fishes, they have what? A streamlined body to reduce what? Water resistance. Okay, a streamlined body for reduced water resistance. Then number two, we have fins. They have what? Fins for navigating and what? And stabilization. Okay, so they have fins for navigation and stabilization. All right, they have fins for navigation, the fins, okay, on the fish. All right, therefore for navigation and what? And stabilization. Please take note of that. Then also fishes, they have what? Gills. Okay, gills, so that they can extract oxygen from what? From water. They have gills for extraction of what? Oxygen from water. All right, so that's another what? Structural adaptation of the fish. All right, they have what? Gills for extraction of what? For extraction of what? Of oxygen, for efficient extraction of what? Oxygen. They also have scales. Number four, they have what? Scales. Okay, what do these scales help them to do? It helps to what? To protect them. Scales for protection. Okay, so that those scales that are hard, all right, so that disrupt penetration, okay, into their body. All right, so they have scales also for protection. And then lastly, we see what? Swim bladder. They have the swim bladder. Okay, and what this swim bladder enables them to do? Okay, it helps them for what? For buoyancy and control. Okay, so these are what the structural adaptations of a fish. Okay, so they have many structural adaptations, such as what? Streamlined body for reduced water resistance when they are swimming, fins for navigation and stabilization, or navigation and stability. Then gills for extraction of oxygen, all right, from the water. Scales for protection, and swim bladder for buoyancy and control. All right. So now let us see structural adaptation of what? Of birds. Of birds. BIRDS. Of birds. Okay. You know that birds, they are lightweight. They are lightweight, which enables them to fly efficiently. So they have a lightweight skeleton, which enables them to fly efficiently. Okay, so structural adaptation of birds, BIRDS. Okay, number one is what? Lightweight skeleton to reduce overall body weight. Okay, so they have what? A lightweight skeleton, all right, to reduce their overall body weight. Their skeleton is very, very light. Okay, in no heavy, because you know that the organisms that love flight. All right, so they also what? Undergo several structural adaptations, okay, so that they can survive what? In their own ecosystem too. All right, so one of them is what? Lightweight skeleton to reduce overall body weight. Also, they have a strong and lightweight feather. They have a strong and lightweight feather for flight. Okay, so birds also have what? A strong and lightweight feather. They have a very strong and lightweight feather for what? For flight. Okay, a strong and lightweight feather. You see, it's very, very light. Their feather is very, very light. It enables them to fly. Then also they have what we call a keel. Keel. Okay, also possess what? A keel on the breastbone for muscle attachment to power wing movement. Muscle attachment to power wing movement. Okay, so they also will possess what? A keel on the breastbone. Okay, all right, for what? For muscle attachment to what? To power what? Wing what? Movement. Also, they have a beak. They have a beak for feeding. A beak, BEAK, okay, for feeding, which is what? Better suited for what? For their feeding, for feeding in their habitat. Okay, for feeding in their habitat. Okay, also birds have a highly efficient respiratory system, okay, with air sacs for continuous airflow. All right, they have a highly efficient respiratory system. They have a highly efficient respiratory system with air sacs for continuous air flow. Okay, please, all of this, they are important to all of these structural modifications or adaptations that are seen. They are very, very important. Make sure you know all of them. They are very easy to know. They're not difficult. Okay, so like birds, they have the lightweight skeleton to reduce their overall body weight, because they are organisms that love flight, right? So they need what? A lightweight skeleton so that they can fly. Then also they have a strong and lightweight feather for flight, right? Their feathers are what? Are strong and what? Lightweight. Then they have a keel on the breastbone for what? For muscle what? Attachment, okay, which is used what? To power their wing movement. Likewise, they have what? A beak for feeding in their habitat. Then also they have what? A highly efficient respiratory system with air sacs for continuous what? air flow. Now, we have been seeing what tadpole, I've seen a fish, I've seen a bird. Okay, then let us see for plants. Example, hydrophytes. Hydrophytes are what? Organisms. They are plants, okay, that live in water. Okay, hydrophytes. Hydrophytes. We'll begin with hydrophyte. Let us see their structural modification. Okay, we see what hydrophytes. Hydrophytes are plants. They are plants that live in water. Okay, hydrophytes. They are plants that live in water. Example is water lily. Water lily. Another example is a lotus. Okay, another one is what is duckweed. Okay, all these ones are they are plants. Okay, that live in water, and they also have their own structural modifications. They have their structural modification. Let us look at this was structural modification one after the other. Number one, they have a thin cuticle or almost absent cuticle. All right, sorry about that. Okay, they have number one, a thin cuticle or absent cuticle. Why do they have a thin cuticle? The reason why they have a thin cuticle because they do not have any need to prevent water loss. They live in water now. So what do they want to prevent water loss for? All right. So they have a thin cuticle or a almost completely absent cuticle because they have no need to prevent water loss. Okay. Then also they have large air spaces. They have large air spaces. Okay, they have erythematous cells. Erythematous cells. All right, in their stems and leaves. Okay, what does this help them do? Okay, the erythematous cells. All right, they have large air spaces. Okay, so it enables them to float in water. All right, which enables them to float in water. All right, so they have large air spaces, which we want to call erythematous cells, right, which enables them to float in water. Then also they have stomata on only the upper leaf surface. Okay, they have stomata on only the upper leaf surface. And what does this help them to do? For gas exchange. Okay, it enables them to exchange gases. Okay, they have stomata on only the upper leaf surface for for gas exchange. Likewise, number 4, they have a poorly developed root. Poorly developed root. Okay, they have a poorly developed root because they live in water now, so they do not need water or minerals, because all those things are present in the water itself. Okay, so they have a poorly developed root. Okay, because no, they do not have they have no need for or you can say that that water and minerals are readily available. Okay, so they have no need for a very good developed root. They have a poorly developed root. Then number 5, they have flexible stems. They have flexible stems. Okay, these flexible stems enable them to withstand water current. Since they live in water, okay, the water current. So the flexible stem enable them to withstand water currents. Okay, so that is that about the hydrophytes. Okay, they are plants. We say they are plants that that live in water. Okay, e.g. water lily. Okay, we have lotus. We have duckweed. Okay, take note of them. Now let us now go to the plants that live in a moderate environment. Okay, moderate environment. They are called the mesophytes. Okay, let us now see the structural adaptations of mesophytes. Okay, they live in a moderate environment. Examples of mesophytes are maize, sunflower, hibiscus. Okay, they are They are mesophytes. All right, to say mesophytes. Okay, this one they are plants that live in a moderate environment. E.g., you have maize, Okay, we have water lily, not water lily, maize, sunflower. Okay, hibiscus. Okay, this one they live in a moderate environment. All right. So now what are the structural adaptations? Number one, they have a moderate root system. They have a moderate root system. Okay, their root system is not too deep, neither is it too shallow. Okay, so not too deep, or or shallow. Okay, then also they have broad leaves. Okay, so that they can get access to sunlight. All right. So number two, they have broad leaves. All right, to absorb maximum sunlight. Okay. Also, they have what's it called? Average stomatal frequency. Average stomatal frequency. Number three, they have a average stomatal frequency. Okay, the stomata is open during the day, but at night it's closed. Okay, it's not completely open. Okay, it's open during the day. The stomata is open during the day and then closed at night. Okay, so that's how we say they have an average stomatal frequency. All right, for gas exchange. All right, but it is open during the day and then is closed. Okay, at night. All right. So now we also have thin cortical. They have a thin cortical also. But this one they have a thin cortical. All right, and since water is not. They live in a moderate environment. Water is not so scarce. All right, they have a thin cortical. Since water is not scarce. All right. Then also they have a well-developed xylem and phloem. Okay. This one for For efficient transport. All right, they have a well-developed xylem and phloem for For efficient transport. All of these are They are the structural adaptation for mesophytes. Plants that live in moderate environment like maize, like sunflower and hibiscus. Okay, they have a moderate root system. They have broad leaves to absorb maximum sunlight. They have average stomatal frequency. All right, open during the day, close at night. They have a thin cortical since water is not that scarce. They have a well-developed xylem and phloem for efficient transport. So now let us now go to Xerophytes. Xerophytes. Please ensure you you like this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. All right. Share this link to your junior one, so in SS1. Let them start preparing with us. You see how good they are. In fact, you know, go fit near them for book when they run there for SS3. Okay, so now let us see Xerophytes. Now, what are xerophytes? Xerophytes are plants in dry environments. Okay, these ones, they are plants in dry environment. A very good example is the cactus plant. Okay, what we call the cacti. Cacti. Okay, cacti plants. Okay, you also have the aloe vera. Aloe vera. Okay, it's another example of this kind of plant. They live in dry environment. And because they live in dry environment, that means they have to They have to find ways to conserve water. All right, they do not need water to be lost. Okay, through transpiration or through any other means. Okay, they live in a dry environment. So, what are the structural adaptations? Number one, we have thick cortical. They have a thick cortical. Okay, this thick cortical is is to enable them to prevent water loss. Okay, because they live in a dry environment, there's no need for them to be to be allowing water, okay, to be leaving their body. So they need to prevent water loss. So they have to have this thick cortical so that they can conserve the water. Also, aside from the thick cortical, they have leaves. Their leaves are reduced to spines or thorns. Okay, and the reason why their leaves are reduced to spines or to thorns, you see, like they get you for body. The reason why they are reduced to spines or thorns is because they need to reduce transpiration. We say transpiration is the loss of water from the leaves of plants. Okay, when water evaporates from the leaves of plants, that is what transpiration. So they need to reduce transpiration as much as possible. All right, so that's why their leaves are reduced to spines or thorns. Okay, this one is to reduce or prevent transpiration. All right, I hope that point is very clear. So they have leaves that are reduced to spines or thorns. That's why I see the cactus plants, okay, having chukuchuku in his body. All right, even the aloe vera. Now, likewise, we also have succulent tissues. They have succulent tissues, okay? Why? The reason why they have succulent tissues is because they store water in their leaves. Okay, they store water in their leaves and in their stem. Okay, so their tissues are usually very succulent, right? Because they need to conserve a lot of water, so they store those water in their leaves and in their stem. They store water in their leaves and stems. Okay, so that is why they have this succulent tissues. Okay, they need to conserve a lot of water. Likewise, we also have sunken stomata. They have a sunken stomata, all right? And the reason why they have a sunken stomata is to prevent, okay, is to reduce, to prevent water loss, all right? That's why they have a sunken stomata, is to prevent water loss also. Okay, so thick cuticle to reduce water loss, sunken stomata also to prevent or reduce water loss. You see their structural adaptation. They are in an environment where it's dry, so they have to do what they have to do to survive. Also, apart from sunken stomata, they have a deep taproot. They have a very deep taproot system. Okay, and why do they need a very deep taproot system? They are not in a place where water is readily available, so they need to reach underground, so that they can touch underground water. All right, for access to underground water. Okay, this is the reason why they have a very deep taproot system. All right, for access to underground water. Then likewise, we have a waxy coating. Number 6. A waxy coating. Okay, they have a waxy coating to prevent evaporation. This is enable them to prevent evaporation. All right, so that is why they have a waxy coating. So these are the structural adaptation for xerophytes, plants in dry environments. The cacti plant, the aloe vera, they have a thick cuticle to prevent water loss. Their leaves are reduced to spines and thorns, okay, to reduce transpiration from their leaves. Then they have succulent tissue. They store water in their leaves and their stem. That's why they have a succulent tissue. They have a sunken stomata also to prevent water loss. They have deep taproot system for access to underground water, as well as waxy coating to prevent evaporation. Now, let us now see the last group, which is the halophytes. Halophytes. These halophytes are plants that live in salty environment. Halophytes. Okay, halophytes, they are plants that live in salty environment. Okay, example is Avicenna. Avicenna also have Rhizophora. So let's look at halophytes. Okay, you say this one, they are plants that are found or live in salty environment. They survive in salty environment like the mangroves, e.g. the mangroves. Okay, example is Avicenna, e.g. we have the Avicenna. Okay, you also have the Rhizophora. Okay, also have the Rhizophora. All right, so this one, they are plants that survive in salty environment, and those also have their own structural adaptation so that they can be able to survive in this kind of environment. What are those adaptations? Number 1 is area roots. Number 1, they have what we call area roots. Okay, the ones we call pneumatophores. Okay, pneumatophores. Okay, this one is to enable them to obtain oxygen. Okay, in waterlogged soils. All right, this area roots, this pneumatophores enable them to get access to oxygen. all right, in waterlogged soils. All right, this one is to obtain oxygen, O2, in waterlogged soil. They also have salt gland in leaves, number 2. Salt gland in leaves. Okay, this one is to what? Is to store water, to what? To dilute the salt. Okay, these are salt glands. Okay, they store water to dilute what? The salt. Okay, the salt gland helps to what? To store water to dilute the salt. Okay, so they are what? Salt glands, okay, in leaves, which enables them to what? To store water so that they can be able to what? To dilute what? The salt. Also, they have what? A thick cuticle. All right, thick cuticle. And you know why they have what? A thick cuticle is what? To prevent what? Water loss. All right, so this one is to prevent water loss. All right, now there is a bit of vivipary. That's number P. Number 4 now. Vivipary. Okay, so their seeds, okay, their seeds will stay attached to the what? To the parent plant until they germinate. Okay, their seeds stay attached to the parent plant until pardon, they germinate. All right, so that is what vivipary. Their seeds stay on what? Stay attached to the what? To the parent until they what? They germinate. This is to what? To preserve what? The plant. Okay, so that the salt will not what? Kill what? The seeds. All right, so they have to what? Stay on what? On the plant, so that what? So that they can preserve what? The seeds and what? And the plant. All right, now let us now quickly go to what? Habitat. All right, we have seen what? All of these what? Structural adaptations. So let us go to habitat. So please ensure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this link to your friends and loved ones. Let's now see habitat. So now what is habitat? Okay, so we have discussed habitat before when we did the introduction to ecology. Okay, we said that habitat is a place where living organisms live or are found. Okay, by living organisms we mean both plants and what? And animals. Okay, and of course we have two major types of habitats, okay, but of course you could say the third one is arboreal, but the major two are aquatic habitat and then the terrestrial what? Habitat. These are the two major types, okay. You can add the arboreal, okay, those ones that are not flight. All right, so these are the two major types, aquatic and terrestrial. Now let us see the aquatic what? Habitat. Okay, now first of all, we say habitat is a place where living organisms, okay, that is both plant and animals, live. Okay, now the study of habitat itself is what we call ecology. Okay, that is the study of habitat. Okay, so now let us see the aquatic habitat to begin with. Now, talk about the aquatic habitat. Now, aquatic habitat is a place of water, okay? A place of water where plants and what? And animals live, okay? It's a place of water where plants and animals live, okay? Now, depending on the concentration of salt in the water, all right? Or if we're not depending on the concentration of salt in the water, we have what? Example of what? Of aquatic what? Animals, okay, will be what? Fish, like your crabs, like your lobsters, and so on and so forth. Right? They are aquatic, okay? You know what aquatic means now? This is that what? That live in what? In water, okay? We say it's a place of water where plants and animals would live. All right, so now we say, if we're not depending on the concentration, we have what? So many examples. Now, but aquatic habitat is divided into 3. Okay, so if you have aquatic habitat divided into 3, number 1 is the one we call the marine. Okay, the marine water. There's the other second one is what we call the fresh water. And then the third one is what we call the brackish water. Okay, so aquatic habitat is divided into three: the marine, the freshwater, and then what? The brackish water. Those are what the three what classification of what of aquatic habitat. And then now for marine habitat, okay, is what is an habitat that contains what a very high concentration of salt. All right, in the marine habitat, we see what high concentration of salt. So this one contains much salt. All right, examples are the seas, e.g., the seas and the oceans. Okay, and of course, the organisms that live in this what marine habitat, they are not limited to what. For example, we have what the planktons. Okay, we have the seaweed, SEA weed. We have the octopus. All right, we have the whales. Okay, and other what animals that are microscopic. Okay, we find them what in the marine habitat. All right, so the marine habitat contains what much salt. Examples are seas and oceans. Examples of what organisms that live there are the planktons, the seaweed, the octopus fish. Okay, the whales and other what organisms that are microscopic. Now, the fresh water is not as salty as what as the marine water. Okay, so for the fresh water, okay, fresh water is not as salty as the marine what habitat. Okay, and examples of what freshwater habitats include like your lakes and your ponds. Your lakes, your ponds, your rivers, all of these, they are what examples, ponds, are examples of what of freshwater habitat. They do not contain as much salt as the marine habitat. All right, so examples are the lakes, the ponds, okay, the rivers. Now, all these that live here, okay, are what are fishes. You see fishes here, fishes. A lot of you that like crayfish very well, crayfish too, they find out here. Crayfish, you have crabs, you have amoeba, okay? Also find water lily here too. Water lily, okay? So all of these are what they are organisms that live, okay, in fresh water, in your lakes, in your ponds, and your rivers. They will now have the brackish water. This brackish water now, this one, they are neither what are marine or what fresh or fresh water. Okay, they are just what there. Okay, they are neither what marine nor what fresh. Example are lagoons. Okay, e.g., lagoons. Okay, so lagoon is a good example of what of a brackish water. Another example is what is bays, bays. Okay, lagoons or bays. Okay, and organisms that we found here in what animals that are found inside this brackish water, periwinkle is a good example. Periwinkle. Those of you that like what periwinkle very well, that is where we find what them. Then lobsters also. Lobsters, okay, that are found in what in the brackish water. So please take note of that. So marine habitats, all right, contains much salt, e.g., seas and oceans. Freshwater is not as salty as marine habitat. Salt as what your rivers, your lakes, and your ponds. Brackish water, all right, it's neither what marine or fresh, all right. They're just there. There are examples lagoons and bays, and these are what the organisms that you find in them. Okay, so now let us talk about the terrestrial habitat. So terrestrial habitat are what the organisms that are found on the land. Terrestrial habitat. So let us go to terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial. Now, terrestrial habitat, on the other hand, okay, they refer to what? To land places. To land places, okay? The habitat for animals that live on land. The habitat for animals that live on land, okay? So that's why I said they are land places. The habitat for what? For animals that live or what on the land. Example of what terrestrial habitat include forests. Okay, you have what your forest, you have your grassland, you have your marsh. Okay, then also have your desert. Okay, so these are examples of what? of your terrestrial habitat, the forest, the grasslands, the marsh, and the desert. Now, we also have arboreal habitats. Okay, arboreal habitat. Okay, this arboreal habitat, they are top trees. Okay, the branches of those trees, top trees, their leaves and their branches. Okay, those are what to call the arboreal habitat. All right, they are top trees, their leaves and their branches. Organisms like bird are what you see here. Birds, bacteria. Okay, you see them on top of top tree. Ants. Okay, they live. Some of them live on top of the tree. Okay, so those are what arboreal habitat. Okay, like your birds. You can see bacteria. All right, all of them, they are what they live. They live on top of the tree. Even monkeys live on top of the tree. Squirrel, they live on top of the tree. Okay, so those are what arboreal habitats. But most importantly, note that what there are some plants that also creep on top of what on top of tall plants. Okay, on top of tall trees, plants that creep, plants that creep on top of tall plants, okay, or tall trees rather. Okay, this one are called epiphytes. Okay, they're epiphytic. Epiphytes. Okay, they are plants that creep on top of very tall trees. Okay, they're the ones who call the epiphyte. Okay, so now let us see a small example of terrestrial habitat. So let us see terrestrial habitat here. Let's say you have terrestrial habitat, and then let us have organisms. Organisms that live there. Okay, on the example is what is on the ground. On the ground. Okay, what do you find? Your goats, your sheep. Okay, your what is it called? Elephants, all those ones, they are organisms that live on the ground. Okay, so you have your goats, you have your sheep, you have elephants. Okay, some plants. Okay, even man. All right, this on the ground. So you can add man to that. Then of course, also have the ones that live. That example of terrestrial habitat that live underground. That live underground. Okay, this one are called the subterranean. Okay, they live underground, like your earthworm that burrows into the ground. Okay, examples here what? Your earthworm. Okay, you can see your rabbit, cricket too. All right, and also have another one we call blind mole rat. Blind mole rat. Okay, all this one they live underground. They are subterranean. They dig into the ground. All right, that's why I see that if you want to catch rabbit, you will dig, pour water inside so that the rabbit will rush out. Okay, so they live under the ground. They also have the ones that live on the tree. Okay, an example of those ones include what do you have? You have your squirrel. Okay, you have your monkey. You have your ants and the lice. All these ones are the ones that live on the tree. All right, so now let us look at the other type of terrestrial habitat to have. Number one is the marsh. Okay, and what is a marsh? We say the marsh are they are low-lying wetlands. Okay, we say that they are low-lying wetlands that are covered under shallow waters. For a long period of time. Okay, that's what we call a marsh. It's a low-lying wetland covered under shallow waters for a long period of time. Okay, so if you go to some areas, you see those marshes. All right, low-lying wetland covered under shallow waters. All right, and of course, examples of we have two types of marshes. We have what we call the fresh water marsh. Then we now have the salt water Okay, MARSH, please. MARSH. RSH. Okay, we have the saltwater marsh and what? And the fresh water marsh. All right. Now, what is the freshwater mass? The freshwater mass occurs around rivers and lakes. Okay. While what the saltwater marsh has what? A high concentration. A high concentration of what? Of salt. Okay, that's why I say what? Salt water marsh. Okay, so we have the fresh water marsh, okay, which occurs what? Around what? Rivers and lakes. They also have the salt water marsh, which was has what? A very high concentration of what? Of salt. Okay, so those are what? The marshes. All right, they are low-lying wetlands that are covered under shallow waters for a long period of time. Now, also let us talk quickly. We'll just take a swipe at forest. Okay, you know what a forest is now? A forest is an habitat for different variant type of what? Plants and what? And animals. It provides habitat for what? For different types, different variety of plants and animals. So you have what? A forest. Okay, we say what is a large area now. A large area of land that is dominated, large area of land dominated by trees and other vegetations. Okay, forest is a large area of land dominated by trees as well as what? Other what? Vegetation. And like I said, forest provides what? A habitat for a large variety of what? Of plants and animals. Okay, and different organisms too. Okay, they are found what? In the forest. Now, types of what? Forest. We have the tropical rainforest. Number one, we have what we call the tropical rainforest. Okay, these tropical rainforests, we find them in the Amazon, and Congo. Okay, we find what? The tropical rainforest. Also have the temperate forest. The temperate forest. Okay, and the temperate forest, you can find them in North America and in Europe. Okay, so also apart from what? The tropical rainforest and the temperate forest, we also have the boreal forests. Okay, boreal forests, you can see them in very cold regions. The boreal forests are found in very cold regions like in Russia and then Scandinavia. Then lastly, we have the mangrove forests. Mangrove forests. This one are found in the coastal areas. Okay, so these are the type of what? Forests that we have. The tropical rainforests found in Amazon and Congo, the temperate forests in North America and Europe, the boreal forests in Russia, very cold regions. Okay, temperate regions. Okay, you have what? The Scandinavia, you have what? The mangrove what? Forest. All right, so these are what the types of what? Forests that we have. Then also we have the grasslands. Grasslands. Okay, another type of terrestrial habitat. So look at the marsh, look at the forest. Okay, that was the grasslands. Okay, so the grasslands are in between the desert and the forest. Okay, so they are biomes. Grasslands, we say they are biomes where grasses are the predominant what? Species. Grasses are the dominant vegetation. Okay, so in the grasslands, okay, you find few trees. Okay, you see what? Few trees. Okay, in the region. And of course, also you see that what? Rainfall is not as high as in the forest for grassland. Okay, and definitely it's not as what? Low as it is in the desert. So it's just what's in between. That's why I say it usually is in between what? The grasslands and what? So it's in between what? The desert and the forest. All right, and of course, we have two types of what? Of grassland. Number one, we have the tropical grasslands. Tropical grasslands. Okay, which is what? The savanna. This one you find them what? In Africa. You find them in South America. Okay, grassland. You find them in Africa. Okay, you find them what? In South America. Okay, also you also see grassland, tropical grassland in some parts of India. Okay, you also find what? Tropical grassland. Then also have temperate grasslands. Temperate grasslands. Okay, this one they are found in North America. I also see them what in South America. Okay, you also see them in South Africa. In South Africa, you also will find them. Okay, you see them also in Europe. Okay, so those ones are called the temperate grassland. So that's grassland. There are bounds where grasses are the dominant vegetation. All right, we have tropical grasslands like savanna and the temperate grasslands. Now let's also quickly talk about ecological succession. All right, before we end the class, before we bring it to a close, right? So ecological succession. Okay, so what is succession? That will be the first thing that will come to your mind. Succession. Okay, I would say that succession is what is a gradual natural process. Okay, whereby ecosystems over time change. Okay, it's a natural it's a natural gradual process whereby ecosystem change over time. That's what succession. Okay, so how succession we say is a gradual natural process by which ecosystems change. Ecosystems change over time, where one community of plants and animals okay, is replaced by another until a stable community okay forms. All right, so that is what succession is. A gradual natural process by which ecosystems change over time. All right, where one community of plants and animals is now replaced with another until a stable community is formed. This stable community is also called climax community. Okay, so that is what succession, right? It's a gradual natural process by which an ecosystem changes over time. In this change, we expect that one community of plant animals is replaced by another until now see or get or achieve a stable or climax community. Now, there are two types of succession, which I was going to talk about. Number one, we have the primary succession. Number one, we have primary succession, all right? And then also we have what we call secondary succession. The primary succession starts on bare surfaces with no soil, okay? This one starts, primary succession, okay, starts with what? With bare surfaces with no soils. Okay, for example, what you see is rocks. Okay, you see rocks, all right, and you see some lava, all right. So in primary succession, we have a bare surface. It begins with a bare surface, okay, with no soils at all. What you find is bare rocks. Okay, so now pioneer organisms like lichens and mosses, okay, okay, they're the ones that appear first in primary succession, all right. So it starts with a very bare surface with no soil at all right. And pioneer organisms we call them pioneer organisms. These organisms that will first of all come there, all right, they're called the pioneer organisms that appear first here in primary succession. They are the lichens and the mosses. Now, secondary succession starts where soil already existed. Okay, it starts where soil already existed, but the vegetation was destroyed. Okay, vegetation was destroyed. Okay, so that is what for secondary succession. Okay, it starts where soil has already existed. Okay, but the vegetation was destroyed. It could be either due to fire. Okay, fire outbreak. It could be due to farming. Okay, it could be due to flooding and all of those factors. Okay, this is what causes the vegetation to be destroyed. So for secondary succession, it's what starts where soil has already what existed what before, but the vegetation was then what destroyed. Okay, so now quickly let us look at stages, the stages in succession, stages in succession. Okay, so the first one is what is the pioneer stage. Okay, the pioneer stage, stages in succession. Number one, stages. Number one, we have what the pioneer stage. Okay, in this pioneer stage, what's the species that take control? Okay, is what they are hard, very hard species. Okay, just like we saw what we want to talk about what pioneer community. We saw what bare rocks. Okay, so it's hard species that what overtake what this stage. So in the pioneer stage species, we have what hardy species which what colonize bare ground. Okay, so in the pioneer stage, hardy species colonize what bare ground. Then after the pioneer stage, we now have the intermediate stage. Intermediate stage. Okay, in this intermediate stage, you begin to see grasses, you begin to see what shrubs and some plants and animals. Okay, you see what grasses, you see shrubs. Okay, you see some what? Some plants and what? And animals. Okay, so that is what the intermediate stage. Then we now have the climax community, which is number 3. Okay, the last stage, climax community. This climax community is what is a stable community. Okay, so a stable, self-sustaining community. Self-sustaining what? Ecosystem. All right, such as what? A forest, a grassland, and let's say swamp. Okay, so this is what a climax what community. All right, so when it has attained what climax stage, okay, it is stable, it is self-sustaining, okay, ecosystem. All right, so these are the 3 stages: the pioneer stage, the intermediate stage, and what the climax community. In the pioneer stage, you have hardy species which colonize bare ground. Intermediate stage, you begin to see grasses, shrubs, plants, and animals. Then the climax community, you now see what a stable what ecosystem or a self-sustaining ecosystem. Now, this will take us to overcrowding. Overcrowding. Now, in overcrowding, we have what a number of what organisms competing for what? For limited resources. Okay, so let's talk about overcrowding. So what is what? Overcrowding, when what too many organisms they are competing for what? For limited what resources. Too many organisms are living in a what? Limited space, competing for what? For resources in that same space. That's what leads to what? Overcrowding. Okay, so say that overcrowding is when too many organisms in a limited space compete for the same resources. Okay, so these resources could be either food, it could be a shelter, okay, it could be water, it could be mates, it could be lights. Okay, so that is when what overcrowding what happens, when too many organisms in a limited space compete for the same resources. All right, could be food, could be shelter, could be water, could be mates. You know mates now. All right, so organisms that can interbreed with. All right, then light. All right, so this is what causes what overcrowding. Now, what are the causes? What causes it? Causes of overcrowding. Causes number 1 is what? Increase in natality. Okay, when what? Organisms that are in a limited space begin to what? Interbreed and give birth to what? To variable young ones. So as they keep giving birth to young ones, they keep increasing in number. All right, and they are still competing for what? For the same resources in the limited space that they are. All right, say that what it will cause what? Overcrowding. All right. Then number 2 is what? Since there's increase in natality and then if there's decrease in mortality, okay, if they know they agree die, all right, so they are not what they are not getting, they are not dying, all right? They are just increasing, It will lead to what? Overcrowding. Then number 3, we also have what? Since we have decrease in mortality, then number 3, we now have increase in immigration. Okay, so when more organisms are moving, okay, to the community, okay, to the population, they are coming to add their numbers to the community, okay, it's what leads to what? Overcrowding. Definitely, number 4 will be decrease. When the word decrease in immigration, okay, these organisms, they know they agree comot, okay, they are not moving away to go and look for food, all right, so it will definitely lead to what? To overcrowding. Now, what is the effect? Now, let us see the effect. Those are the causes. The effect of what now? Of overcrowding. If they are now overcrowding, what do we now see? What happens? Number 1, we see what? Competition. Okay, this competition can be intraspecific or interspecific. Okay, it is intraspecific when it is between what? The same what? Species. Okay, it is now interspecific when it is what? Between different species. So there's limited what? Resources. All right, so they begin to what? Compete for those what? Limited what? Resources. So it can be intraspecific between same species, or what? Interspecific, which is what? Between what? Different what? Species. Okay, so that's competition. Then number 2, we see what? Spread of disease. Okay, so now because what? This organisms, they are now what? Together. Okay, they are everywhere is crowded. It can what? Lead to what? To exponential what? Rate of what? Release of what? Or transfer or transmission of what? Of diseases. So disease can easily was spread because of what? Because of overcrowding. Okay. Also, we also have poor growth and nutrition. Okay, poor growth, begin to experience poor growth and malnutrition. Okay, because of that competition, resources are not so much available. You see them going to have what? Poor growth and what? And malnutrition. All right. They also, you now see increase. You are going to see increase in mortality. Okay, because some of them cannot cope with this what? Competition, they will die. Okay, they'll begin to what? Die. All right, leading to what? A reduction in what? In the population. And then also number 5, you are sure to what? To experience what? Emigration also. Okay, you are going to see increase in emigration. Okay, some of them will say, instead make I die for you, make I go look for food outside. Okay, they will now what? Go in search of what? Of food. Okay, so that is what now? Increase in what? In emigration. So these are what this overcrowding, this is the cause of what? Overcrowding, and these are the effects that we see with what? With overcrowding. All right, we're supposed to take note of all of what? Of this. All right, now let us now go to the O3 Schools app, answer the questions that are before us, and we are done with this class. Please, you are going to answer all of these questions because the questions have become very, very easy. Okay, they have become very, very easy. So you answer them and tell me the answers in the comment section. If you follow the class, they are very easy. Okay, so now let us begin with few. Okay, this is a 2002 question, number 11. It says that one of the adaptations to life on trees by a monkey is its possession of digits, which are A says extensible, B say opposable, B say big, C says opposable, D say long. Okay, so the monkeys, they possess opposable digits. And the reason why I'm telling you the answer because I did not mention it during the class. Okay, they possess what? Opposable digits, which enable them to be able to hang on to what? To trees. That's why they're able to jump. You see, if you see a monkey, how flexible it is. Okay, they possess what? Opposable what? Digits, usually thumbs, which allow monkey to grasp and manipulate objects, including the trees or branches. Now, let us see 2001, number 46. You will answer this one in the comment section. They say the most important adaptation of xerophytes is the ability of the protoplasm to A say absorb water and soil, B say resist being damaged by water loss, C say shrink from the cell wall, D say store sugar and minerals in the vacuoles. Tell me the answer in the comment section. Then 1994, number 10 says, Which is the most important adaptation of a bony fish life in water? A, say the possession of a streamlined body. B, say the presence of overlapping scales. C, say the covering of the body by thin film or slime. D, say the possession of a caudal fin. Tell me the correct answer in the comment section. They also have 2023 number 7. They say which of the following adaptation is commonly observed in organisms for survival in water? They say thick fur for insulation. B, say gills for respiration. C, say large ears for hearing. D, says long legs for running. Okay, tell me the correct answer in the comment section. Also, we have 2023 number 25. It says which of the following is an example of a behavioral adaptation for survival in animals? A, say camouflage. B, say sharp teeth. C, wings. D, migration. Tell me the correct answer in the comment section. Now, you will go and search for this question from the app. Go to question search. Just click on adaptation, or click on search for habitat or adaptation or succession. You see all the questions that come and select this here, answer, then tell me the answer in the comment section. 2023 number 31, I'm going to look for it. Also, you look for 2012 number 30. I'm going to look for 2010 number 32. Please make sure you do this assignment to 2001 number 33 and download the O3 Schools app. Okay, download it, activate it, and start now. Okay, then 2024 number 38, 2023 number 36, 2023 number 18, 2019 number 31, 2017 number 36, 2023 number 14, 2022 number 22. You'll be shocked that I'm giving this much assignment. 2020 number 31 also. 2016 number 38. Also have 2022 number 20. Okay, so all of these questions are under what we discussed. Okay, habitat, adaptation, ecological succession, overcrowding. Okay, search for all of them, answer them, and tell me the answers in the comment section. All right, I wish you all the best. I'll see you in the next class.